put that on set. So this is the footage from Game 7 between the Pistons and the Lakers. Now, I really like what this guy did in his comments. Bald head kid with 6.2 thousand subscribers. I'm shouting you out because I think you do a good job. So, Los Angeles Lakers were trying to accomplish something that had not been done in the NBA for 20 years, won back-to-back championships. This has not been done since the Celtics because this is 1988, 1968, and 1969 when Bill Russell was the player coach and led his team to back-to-back championships. That's the last time it had happened. The Pistons had the series lead 3-2, and the Lakers won Game 6, and this Game 7 came down to the absolute wire. These guys, the bad boys were in full form at this point. Like, they hadn't won any championships, but the reputation was there. Like, Lampier had already gotten into fights with the Celtics and pretty much everybody else. And Isiah and Magic were like best friends at this point. This was like a really big deal. And they got to Game 7. And yeah, this is it. Now they're showing the last time it had ever happened. Was Bill Russell's last
yeah. Gotcha.
Crazy. So, what do you call it? I just think it's crazy how good Magic was against all different types of teams.
Yeah, I mean, when you go to the finals 9 times, you kind of are gonna see a variety of teams, unless you, especially in, because a lot of people make it seem like the 80s was just the Celtics and the Lakers, but they were. I mean, Philly was there. Like we went through all of them. Like Philly was there, freaking Detroit. You had good teams that they were facing for sure. It's not like it was just so much championships between those two teams that it makes it seem like it was just them two. One thing I want to mention is, so were they making a big deal about Isiah and Magic like kissing each other and shit beforehand and like
being, like, they were
best
friends?
That
was the whole thing.
Yeah. So like because in today's era they make it seem like and I know this is a little off topic, but it's kind of relevant to that series. So they make it seem like it's such a big deal that players are friendly now, when these two motherfuckers were kissing each other before games and then going at it like to pretty much ready to kill each other during the game. Like, they got into like not fights, but like little situations throughout the games. I remember I saw a bunch of clips on it.
You got to remember that they're playing every day in the summer. Like, it's like him. It's like Magic, Isiah, Mark Aguirre, and a couple of George Gervin was in there every once in a while too. All the guys from Michigan. It was like a Michigan thing. So Magic and Isiah knew each other real well.
Yeah.
But also, I can't imagine Magic guarding somebody that small consistently, like all the time.
Yeah, and I'm sure, and Isiah was pretty quick too, so it's like
Isaiah's Isiah might be the best ball handler of all time.
Yeah, and I think.
But go ahead, go. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, and I know a lot of people probably think that it's crazy because you see like players like Kyrie and all this other bullshit, but it's different when you're dribbling all around just to fucking dick around and look all fancy, and it's different to like cross someone up and actually score. And Isiah did that consistently throughout his career.
Yeah,
it was never any of this dilly daddling with the ball, trying to make it look all pretty and shit. He got by you and scored and made it easy, and he was easily one of the best dribblers of all time.
So I'm gonna ask this question for what feels like the 5th fucking time in this segment or in this legacy breakdown. Who's making this ruling for Finals MVP? Why does James Worthy get this?
You see how
Why is James Worthy the Finals MVP? He scored 0.9 more points per game, right?
yeah.
Shot a shittier field goal percentage, right? Took more shots, sure, but not that many to like be blown away.
Yeah.
Magic, 21-13 with 2 steals. Like, if he and in Game 7, like, what more does this guy have to do? That's
Are
why
you saying you think Magic should have had 2 more?
Yeah.
But he could have had 1 less. So pretty much he got screwed out of 1. We thinking.
That's one way of looking at it. I think I don't know. If we run it back, I'm going to count it out when we do the hypotheticals.
Yeah.
For the ones that I think he deserves and the ones that I think he got screwed. But I feel like I've asked that question 4 or 5 times now.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he's literally, it's hard to not give it to the player that's literally the reason the team is there. like it's just like, it's as weird as if you had like a LeBron or Kobe when they were like clearly the ones running the team, and then like you just randomly give it to like Sasha Vujacic or some shit like that. That's pretty much what you're doing. Like you give it to the third guy just because he had a good game, Oh, I thought he made that.
Yo, you're.
I was about to say. I was like, yo, he made that? Time out.
We need to discuss this now.
Yeah. Nah, but that, yeah, I understand where you're coming from for sure. With the Kareem thing, I do feel like he.
Like, did you see
the
how
context of it?
Did you see how Byron Scott just got that dunk a second ago?
Yeah.
That's the offense.
Yeah, it
doesn't happen without Magic.
And it's not like James Worthy was just over there creating all his fucking shots. Like it was easily Magic running down, giving him easy ass dunks and shit. And that's why he shot so bad, because when he tried to create his own shot, he couldn't do it.
No, because he had to go up against like Rodman.
Maybe it was because he was like the X factor. Did he have a huge Game 7? Because I could see something like that where if he had like a crazy Game 7, it probably.
Let's see.
It could be, if I may interject, kind of like a modern day
36
Andre Iguodala, like Finals MVP. He wasn't like the greatest scorer on that team. He didn't score all of the points. He didn't really run the team, but he got the Finals MVP that season, that year that they won.
Yeah, but he did it because he guarded LeBron James. There's no LeBron James on the Pistons.
So what was James Worthy's intangible there that made him get the Finals MVP? What don't we know?
We don't. That's my whole point.
Well, he had a huge game. He had a huge Game 7, and like a lot of people said, like that's similar to like Draymond, because Draymond would have probably won Finals MVP in 2016 if they would have won the series, because Draymond had literally almost the same exact game that James Worthy did, but they lost. Everyone was saying that they think that Draymond was about to win that. So I could see it being, since it was such a toss up and him having the biggest game at the biggest moment, that they'll give it to him.
Yeah.
Because you gotta like, when you look at it, because this is 2020 hindsight. This is 30 years. 30 years ago. So like we're looking at it just from numbers perspectives, and that's why like I feel like you always gotta add context into the games, because you look at this and at the time you're probably like, yeah, he has to get it because they were so dead even. It was a 7-game series and this guy just wilded out. Like I could see that happening, especially being there at that time.
And this was a really close game. Like this comes down to the
it was a 3. Yeah, it was
a. And yeah, I mean he did have a huge triple double in Game 7, but a lot of times I get confused with the Finals MVP award because A, it's a small sample size. B, it's a lot of times the right guy I feel like doesn't get it, or like they get it for like one game that they had and not like the whole like not the entirety of the series.
Yeah, like I feel like the Finals MVPs are slightly over it. Like, I feel like people look at them as they're bigger than an MVP.
We're starting to look at them too much because of how much we have valued the championship over the last 10 years, at least like within like sports media and basketball.
Yeah.
Like we completely hype up the championship. You got to have the championship. LeBron doesn't have enough championships, shit like that. And like,
I agree with that though. I feel like the championship should be hyped up because that's what you're playing for.
But that's why the Finals MVP is getting hyped up because you're the best player in the championship. That's the idea.
Yeah. But then that to me is more so the whole path to it. Like if you get into the championship and you're beating the best teams, to me that is what makes championships so valuable. But when we get to Finals MVPs, I start to look at them as because like to say like I'm trying to think of a good example of like a player who's won multiple Finals MVPs or something.
To me,
but like
multiple is harder. It's actually harder than you think to find a bad multiple-time Finals MVP. It usually doesn't happen.
Yeah.
If they have more than one, they usually earn. They're usually like a good player. Like you feel.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was just trying to like compare one that like is a good player, but he's not better than this player that has.
But I think only two. I think we all feel like most of the time during this era of basketball, the best teams make the finals. Outside of a few exceptions, the best team in each conference made the finals 9 times out of 10. So like the Finals MVP matters more if you feel like the best is playing the best.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. And especially at this point, you were easily because you were always getting the best out of the West because pretty much the Lakers were just the best out of the West all the time. So you're always just having them face whoever's in the East, and anyone who was in the East at that time deserved to be there. You know, like they were great play. They were a great team.
It was a complete slaughter. I said it was a complete slaughter to get to the East.
Yeah, it was a freaking battlefield the whole way down.
But that's my point. I think the Finals MVP matters more during this era, and I think Magic's getting fucked out of them because James Worthy had a nice Game 7. Meanwhile, Magic still had 19 and 14. Like under any, if LeBron had 19 and 14 and Kyrie Irving had 40, LeBron still gets Finals MVP. Yeah,
but the whole thing is LeBron's averaging like 30, 15 and something like you're also like.
And this guy's averaging 22 and 14 or whatever the fuck. Like, that's great. Like,
yeah, that is true. That's
my point. I just don't get it. I don't get I don't understand why.
Because I saw a lot of people saying they thought Kyrie should win Finals MVP that 1 year, and I could see the case for that because he hit the big shot. He had great last 3 games like that. It's all about context of what happened during that time. Like you have to, if you were there, you probably would have been like, I'm not mad at it, you know, like as much as you are now because now you're able to look at everything and be like, what the fuck, this guy outplayed him the whole series and he was easily the best player on the team and you felt like he was just not getting it because they didn't want to say, oh, it was just Magic because it's Magic.
Oh, well, I'm glad.
That's pretty much what it sounds like. What they did.
That they gave it to LeBron, because that would have been insane. I would have been so pissed.
I wouldn't have been mad if they would have. Well, obviously, I wouldn't have been mad if they would have given it to Kyrie, but he really did do like. I don't think it was just like it should have just been unanimously LeBron. I would not. I could see people saying why they would have given it to Kyrie too. But you also hate Kyrie.
That's a different story for a different day, my friend.
Yeah.
But
agree to disagree, but we must move on.
Yeah.
Yes.